Hi, James.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I was just saying, you're looking lovely and tanned. What have you been up to?
All the time off I've had, the last 4 months I've just been sunning myself in a garden. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been working hard. Well, actually, I know you've been working hard because I've been seeing your social media posts and the amazing decking. When can I hire you to come round our house?
Yeah, that was project one. So I tried to keep myself busy with lots of projects, and that started off. I was literally just going to for fun build a little bar, and then it kind of went from there, and yeah, it's got bigger and bigger, and then two van loads of pallets later, and yeah, it cost me a whole £35. That did.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
cool.
incredible. And you got
Yeah.
a cinema and everything.
Yeah, outdoor cinema. Yeah, I've just been doing stuff. It's been like so boring, like, 'cause I'm used to working flat out, like 7 days a week, all over the place, and obviously with everything going on, it's kind of yeah, not been like that. So yeah, just trying to keep busy really. But luckily, it is now starting to kind of things are sort of starting to get back to normal a bit. So
Yeah, I was
yeah.
going to ask, so how has your lockdown experience been? I mean, maybe actually before we go down that route, maybe just for anyone who doesn't know or does not knows you as a photographer but doesn't know all the intricate details of all the other businesses you look after as well.
Yeah, okay. So photography is kind of my main business. Has been for 11 years now. So with that, there's two sides to it. So there's the weddings. So I normally shoot around about 35 weddings a year. And then there's the whole corporate side, doing all the corporate photography for small local companies right up to kind of companies like McDonald's, Prince's Trust, Primark. We do through different agencies. I work with various different clients. So that's sort of the photography side. And then I own a hair and beauty salon in Norwich, which we've got 4 staff employed in there. And so that's between the both of those, they're sort of normally what keeps me busy.
Yeah, and anyone listening to this will be going, "Oh God," because it's basically every industry that's been hit the most.
Yeah.
You're
And I
in.
was also doing some consultancy work for a pub chain, which has also got hit as well. So yeah, all kind of 3 income streams just switched off. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely. So how has that been for you? How have you managed?
it's not been too bad, luckily, because I took a month off in January as well. So obviously, my plan this year was I planned it for sort of a year, was to have January off and never work a January again. And so took January off and went traveling in India for a month. Came back. Luckily, February was extremely busy, and so pretty much worked the whole of February, which was kind of unheard of. Normally, January, February, March are quite quiet months anyway, but February was extremely busy. And then, a couple of weeks into March, then it all starts going downhill. Beginning of March, it was when we kind of started thinking, right, this is going to be a lot more serious than everyone kind of thought it was. Well, I certainly did anyway. And then, yeah, and then the work sort of, starts getting cancelled. Clients at the salon start calling up to begin with. They're cancelling their appointments because they don't want to come out. And then obviously, I think it was about the 18th of March was when we closed the salon, and then for the next 3 months, yeah, there's nothing. Literally, I didn't do a single shoot. Um, uh, but just tried to keep busy, really. Tried to keep the business going and as much as I can, and obviously with the wedding industry, as you'll know, that's been hit pretty hard, and so I had sort of 35 weddings booked in for this year, and so it's been rearranging all of those. So
I was gonna say, are you going to be having 70 weddings next year now instead, or?
well, yeah, I mean, I'm at 35 in the diary for next year now, and I've still got 12 in the diary for this year, and obviously there's going to be a lot of those that don't happen either. So yeah, next year is going to be a bit busy.
Yeah, we got our so again, for anyone who doesn't know, James, you're my wedding photographer. I was meant to get married next week, not
Yeah,
happening. And yeah, we've been like sending out the new save the dates for the new date like really early, and apparently that was a very good idea because everyone's getting booked up with multiple weddings on the
yeah,
same
yeah.
day. So I was like, oh God.
See, the problem, the biggest issue I'm now finding is next year is obviously getting extremely busy. And so the sort of 10, 12 weddings I've still got in the diary for this year, if they don't happen, they are going to start booking for next year. And obviously there's going to be a lot of double bookings and things like that where people, are already going to be booked. That brings the problem that some of them have already paid. So a lot of them, some of my clients will pay monthly. And so when I then can't do their date, it's then the awkward, well, they want their money back, which is fine. But when you've got no income coming in, luckily from the sort of the 20 weddings, 22 weddings that I've rearranged already, only one of them have actually cancelled the wedding. All the rest I've managed to rebook into a date, and it's been quite nice. A lot of the venues and other suppliers have been kind of trying to work together and offering sort of 3 or 4 dates to a couple, so they can then ask around and see which is the best one for all the suppliers to try and make life a little easier. But it's kind of it's been a bit stressful just trying to get everyone booked back in, and and luckily only one out of those sort of 20 odd so far I've not been able to do.
I have to say, we were very lucky in working with your other half as well. I have other friends who've been at different venues and have had absolute nightmares with deposits being lost, or people just not willing to budge or offer dates. Right. Lots of people are getting married midweek next year because there's just no availability. So I'm glad we took care of that early doors.
I think it was the right thing to do. I mean, the people that I'm speaking to, I've still got weddings in the diary for August and September, and they're hanging out because there's certain venues out there which are trying to cling on to as much as they can this year, and obviously they want the business, and so they're trying to kind of get them to have their weddings this year. But realistically, it's not going to be a wedding that you'd originally planned.
No.
And now they're leaving it all to the last minute, and that's the problem, because now we're all getting very booked up. All the wedding industry's getting so booked up for next year that these couples are going to be left really disappointed when they can get a Wednesday in October instead of their summer wedding on a Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we virtually attended a wedding this weekend gone. Because my friends, they booked this most amazing castle in Austria.
Right, wow.
Austria opened up early, but no one could go there because of the travel restrictions. So they had this incredible, amazing venue, and then nobody else there. Nobody was able to go. So we're all on Zoom watching them. And on one hand, I'm glad, because I think they just wanted to get married, and I'm glad that was able to happen. But at the same time, I was like, oh God, you would be gutted, but you just have to make the most out of it, don't you? And there's no guarantee that next year won't be problem free either.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've like this year, I've had couples, bless them, that had their weddings planned in sort of end of March, beginning of April, and they rearranged for like August and September, and so now they're having to rearrange again because they thought it would all be done and dusted by now. And we're just gonna hope next year. I've got none in the diary for January because I want to take January off. I literally planned to have every January off for the rest of my life, and now I've had no one thought I'd have 6 months off this year without working. But I'm still planning on taking January off, and then February it'll all kick off. But next year, it's going to be it's the weekends where I've got there's one weekend where I've got a wedding on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you've got 4 back-to-back weddings. So the Sunday one is going to be fully fueled on Red Bull. And
I was going to say, stay off the booze, keep yourself fresh. How's the salon? Because obviously you've been just able to reopen. How difficult is it to actually reopen in terms of measures?
It's been, the salon's been a tough one. It's helpful in the fact that we got the £10,000 grant, but £10,000 goes absolutely nowhere. The building's sitting there empty. Cost me just over probably about £2,200 a month empty in rent, insurance, software bills. It's even the electricity bills. The place is empty, and the electricity bills are still over £200 a month, just because of all the business fees on them. We have a live meter in there, so you have to pay a monthly fee for that, and there's administration fees. And it's crazy just to run a couple of fridges and the CCTV and emergency lighting and things. So just over £2,000 a month. But the biggest problem we had was our electricity bill. We pay every 6 months, and so our bill came in end of May. And normally, you'd use kind of money from March, April and May to pay that. And so obviously I didn't have that. So my electricity bill came in end of May, which is like £4,200. So by the time you have the £10,000 grant and you've got £4,500 electricity bill plus £2,200 a month for 4 months sitting there empty, you know, 10 grand goes up to, you know, it helped because it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had that 10 grand. But so yeah, the salon's been a bit of a, you know, we managed to get stuff done. So we've been trying to get refitting and redecorating and stuff like that done on there for a while, but it's so difficult because we're open a lot. So, you know, we close on a Sunday and a Monday. And so to try and get sort of tradesmen and things in on Sundays, you know, isn't going to happen. And then you get one day, and by the time they get in, get set up, and, you know, certainly with painting and decorating, if they're going to be gone early enough for it to dry. And so it just never happened, and it was always just put off. So it's given us a chance to completely refit the entire salon. So we used the time, and obviously I had a lot of time off, so I've done a lot of it myself, with decorators in and things like that. So we've completely refurbished the whole salon, which has been great. So it's really looking, you know, good now. It's how we wanted it. It's kind of finally what I envisaged 3 years ago of how our salon would look. It's kind of finally there. So we've done that. Opening was, we only have, so we have four girls in there working. Only have one hairdresser at the moment. So in terms of opening for hair, it wasn't actually that hard because I didn't have to put screens up between all of the, you know, the chairs and things like that, because there's only one in there. So we turned the online booking system on, and within 4 hours we were fully booked for the whole month.
Wow.
It would have been quicker than that. It was just the website couldn't cope, and so the website kept crashing. But within 4 hours, yeah, we were fully booked for hair for the whole month, which was great. Beauty, though, has been completely different. Beauty is very quiet. So I brought the 2 girls back in this week. Yesterday they were really busy. Today's quite busy. But once you get over this sort of week, it's not that busy. And the trouble is, you know, we still can't do anything on the face. So it's literally from neck down. Do people really want a massage at the moment? They're not that stressed. They've had 4 months off work, you know, and so, you know, it's kind of, we can't do any, obviously, facials, can't do any tinting, brow wax, you know, so,
and that's the thing, like, talking for all hairy women out there, it's the facial waxes that we need. We don't care about the rest. It's the face.
Yeah, and so obviously, and it's a very, you know, I kind of understand it. It's very difficult to kind of get your head around when I can cut, so, you know, they can cut someone's fringe, but they can't wax their eyebrow, and it is kind of, you know, very, very difficult when you've got, you know. So luckily, obviously, the girls were furloughed, so they were all taken care of. And, you know, if I have to part-time furlough and bring them back certain days, because there's just not enough work at the moment. You know, the beauty, no weddings are happening, so no one's having their hair done, no one's going out really, no one's going clubbing every weekend and having spray tans. And so, you know, until things get back to normal and people start socializing more, you know, they're just not going to be that busy. So it's going to be an interesting few months to see how it goes, really. It's kind of yeah, it'll be tough. It'll be a tough few months in there.
Well, let's hope that picks up as well.
Yeah.
So how has it been for you on a personal level, like work aside? Obviously there's anxieties there, I would assume. I know you're not a very anxious guy, but
no.
like, you must have
yeah, it's the first yeah, I mean, I'm not that bothered, like, in terms of the financial side of it. Yeah, it's tough, but, you know, I don't really worry about money. I learned from quite, you know, early on in business that every time, you know, I'd get to a state and it'd be like, oh my God, I've got like £1,000 bill coming out tomorrow and I've got like £4 in the bank. And then something would turn up. And my whole business life has been like that, where something turns up. You know, I remember a few years ago where I had, with the salon, we had a big flood and we lost some members of staff, and literally we were losing £2,000-3,000 a month in there. And I had a court date for electricity bill because I had no money to pay it. And I scraped some money in, and I had a court. I had to be in Ipswich Crown, you know, Magistrates Court at 11 o'clock the next morning. And I was £1,495 short of the bill. And so I'm literally thinking, right, I need to go to court and I'm going to have to say this and try and get this happen. And then about 11, it was like 11:50 that night, a bride just said, "Is it all right if I pay my bill tonight? We've got some extra money." And I looked and it was £1,495 bill. And they paid it and I paid the bill. And so I don't really worry about finances. It kind of, yeah, it's tough. And, you know, when you've got staff to pay and things like that, it can be a bit more stressful. But so in terms of finances, no, I'm not that worried. I'm lucky in the fact that, you know, Sean's still working. So we have still got an income coming into the house. And, you know, savings are disappearing fast, but it is what it is, you know. But in terms of on a personal level, you know, I've actually loved it. It's been, the last 10, 11 years have been full on. Like, I work a lot, I drive a lot, you know, I'm 1,000 miles a week, driving up and down the country, and it's just non-stop. And so after having a month off and sort of mess around in India and stuff like that, and then coming back and, you know, now having another 4 months off, yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice to kind of, you know, recharge and refresh a little bit, really. So yeah, I can't say you know, when are we ever going to get an opportunity in our lives where you can kind of switch off for 6 months? Like, you know, so I've just thought, well, you can't change it. Let's just enjoy it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've, you know, doing stuff around the house, you know, the garden, you know, messing around and, you know, just doing stuff. Like, I bought a motorbike, stripped it down, rebuilt it just for fun to see how it works, and, you know, if I can do it. You know, I've done the decking. It's just all sorts of random stuff like that I've been doing, really, just to keep my brain occupied.
I must say, I'm very impressed. You seem to be very handy with your mechanics, DIY.
Yeah, I love to go anything, you know. In the salon, obviously, that was a couple of weeks in there of sort of decorating and getting stuff sorted in there. And so, yeah, I've quite enjoyed it, to be fair. But now I'm getting bored. I am getting bored now.
Need to get back to work now.
Yeah, and yeah, luckily the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, some work has started to come back in again. They've actually been quite busy. It went from sort of nothing to a lot of shoots that were in the diary sort of for March and April. They're all now starting to come in, so it's been quite nice to sort of catch up with some of the clients and actually get out and start taking some photos and stuff like that. So that's been quite cool. And obviously the salon's open, so, you know, that kind of has a few, you know, it keeps me busy in there as well, making sure that's going okay. So yeah, it's been all right.
Cool. So we normally, at this point, we always ask, I'm always really interested to know what our good eggs do in terms of reading, podcasts, unwinding. I mean, it's a very open question, but what are you engaged with at the moment, or have you discovered something that everybody needs to know about?
Probably not. No. No. So I've yeah, apart from, you know, the day drinking and things like that, you know, I've enjoyed thoroughly.
I love how honest you are.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I've been enjoying, you know, being able to have a beer at 11:30 and not have to worry about it. No, but other things, like, I have been in the last sort of certainly in the last couple of weeks, I've got back into podcasts and audiobooks and stuff, like, because normally when I'm driving, you know, if I drive to Manchester and back in the day, you know, I've got 8 hours of nothing to do in a car. So I do listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts and stuff like that. So last sort of couple of weeks while I've been working, I've been listening so some books that I've already listened to once. So I've just been going through them again, really. So Daniel Priestley, Oversubscribed, Purple Cow, like, so I've been going through quite a few old sort of audiobooks and listening to them.
What was the last one you said? Something now?
The Purple Cow.
Purple Cow?
Yeah, I can't remember. So annoying.
I'll look up who it's by, but what is it? What's it about? It's sort of rings a bell, but
yeah. So it's I suppose it's just looking at ways, you know, your business can, you know, can stand out and be different from the rest.
Okay.
It's so annoying. I can't think of the guy. He's like very, very famous.
Seth Godin.
That's it. Yeah. So I've just started re-listening to that again. I listen to. I do stuff with Entrepreneur Circle. So I've been a member of Entrepreneur Circle for like about 5 years, and so just started to kind of pick up again on some of the stuff we do with them. They're sort of doing a big thing at the minute, all about starting today is all about increasing your reach and looking at your following and you know, doing stuff to increase that over the next sort of 4 weeks. So they've kind of set a bit of a challenge this week on you know, increasing that reach and gaining followers. So that's sort of something I'm really sort of focused on.
Cool. Entrepreneur Circle, is that YouTube or social
No,
media?
well, so it's a subscription thing. So it's a guy called Nigel Bothwell. He owns like Best of and stuff like that. So he's had, you know, sort of about 7 or 8 sort of multi-million-pound sort of businesses he's been involved in over the years. It's kind of like networking, but it's more marketing and help on that. So they do lots of sort of online sort of web stuff. They normally do big meetups. So, you know, like I think it was March, we were supposed to be doing they have a big sort of conference in Birmingham. Speakers were like Piers Morgan, David Walliams, loads of sort of different people speaking, and so that's what I've enjoyed the most with them over the years, like the different people that they bring in to speak. So, you know, you kind of get like Jeffrey Archer, we've had the guy who set up Moonpig, we've had like Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den, so you get kind of all those sort of keynote speakers. So yeah, doing some sort of stuff with them. Potential another business, but I can't really say much about that. But yeah,
I'll wait to hear from that. Another one.
yeah. So there's sort of an opportunity that sort of came up, and it's probably the craziest thing I've done in this current climate. But yeah, we'll see. You know,
we'll keep our eyes out on that.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop on that one when I can.
That's amazing. Oh, that's great. Well, on that note, speaking of crazy, I have some really random questions in my random part of questions.
Cool.
So let's crack one open. Well, one fell out, so let's take that. What was the last thing you Googled?
Wow. I will tell you. What was the last thing I Googled?
Well, mine was purple cow, obviously, just now.
Yeah, what was mine? I can go on there and I'll see what the last thing I Googled was.
Obviously, feel free to make something up if it's inappropriate.
I don't know if it'll be that inappropriate. It's probably like, how many beers can you know, the record for drinking in a day or something. It was actually, I Googled my own salon. There you go.
Brilliant.
Because what I've noticed is, and I didn't notice, and this might be some other people as well, is Google automatically on Google business listings closed. So when you're opening hours, they automatically changed it to closed. So my salon, when you type it into a sat nav, it says this business is closed. And so that was what I Googled to see if it actually comes up, because I'm not actually 100% sure. That's my job this morning, is to get rid of that, because I couldn't see how to do it earlier.
That happened to me yesterday. So I went to my osteopath for the first time yesterday.
Yeah.
And because she's moved and I tried to get to her new place, and it didn't direct me to it. It just said closed. I was like, I don't care if it's closed, I still need to get there.
Yeah.
I couldn't go on directions. So in the end, I had to basically pick a neighbour's house in order to get directions there. So yeah, no, that's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, and I literally Googled like beauty salons Norwich, and it all says, you know, temporary closed still on all of them. So it's a big thing, but I'm not sure. Like I went on there yesterday to try and change it, and I can't even see how you change it. There's no option to turn that off. So I don't know whether that's something that I can do and I've just missed it, or whether that's something that Google have got to do, because I couldn't find it. And that was why I Googled it this morning, just to see if it still says it.
That's really odd, because normally I always receive an email going, are you open or are you closed? And then I have to put it in. I'd be interested to see if Breed Events is open. But not that it makes a difference, because people don't come into my business. But but it's
just a thing, you know. It says it was like with the sat nav, you know, a lot of people will use that to find the salon if they've never been before, and all of a sudden they get a message saying, "Oh no, we're closed," you know. So it's kind of
you don't want to confuse people on top of everything else. Although saying that, that's not as easily done at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. It's certainly.
That's fab. Thank you so much, James.
No worries.
Thank you for your time. It's been lovely to catch up with you. I'm glad to hear that you're all safe, you're all well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I read early on that alcohol kills it, so I just went down that route and just drank for 4 months straight, and I've been fine, very healthy.
There you go. Look, it's just about lunchtime. We can pour ourselves a glass of wine now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's nearly 11:30. That's my magic time now. 11:30, I can start drinking. No, I'm very much on the tea today, and shirt on business today.
Same here, same here. So look forward, hopefully, to see you again soon.
Yeah.
At a good eggs event, whenever that may be, with cocktail in hand, snapping away behind the camera, obviously, as always.
Yeah, can't wait.
Thank you so much, James. Take care.
Take care.